I'm delighted to say that the 1878 FM podcast is sponsored this season by Green King Sport Pubs, where football is more than a game. Green King Sport venues are showing every single Everton televised game across the 23-24 season, as well as a host of other Premier League games. With over 900 venues across the UK, it doesn't matter where you're based, you'll be able to catch the action. Head over to Green King Sport's Instagram page and give them a follow, at Green King Sport. Now, without further ado, let's get on with the podcast. Hello, welcome to the 1878 FM podcast. It is episode 7. Me, Ped and Dave is back. Dave was ruled out last week, but he's back. Yeah. It was a short-term thing. He is back. Unlike the Bush, who was gone to Saudi Arabia, I think. I think Andy's took the money and gone.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
He's gone full Jordan Henderson.
I think so.
He's
I think
very
so.
much permanently unavailable. Yeah, mine was just a week's absence, for which I apologise.
Yeah.
I had challenging circumstances which prevented me from being here, and that's all I'm prepared to say on the matter at the moment.
We won't push you.
You're back, and it's a step in the right direction.
It is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean a big step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I would say, Ped. Maybe several steps in the right direction.
Well, possibly. 13, 14 steps in the right direction. Who knows? It's only if you count them. But Dave is back, and Dave, it is the most joyous of episodes to be back for so far this season,
isn't it?
And Everton win. Everton's first victory.
Ned's birthday.
No, we'll get on to Ned's birthday in the random section, because what could be more random than Ned's birthday?
I mean, they happen once a year.
Exactly, and that's random enough. Everton went to the capital and won for the first time since Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal at West Ham United back in 2021. But it was an unexpected result, I would suggest, and B, a bloody good performance as well from the Blues.
I'd agree on both fronts. I didn't fancy us away at Brentford at all in the current form. Brentford are useful as we know, and we don't travel well. And I didn't hold out any hope of us picking anything up there. But as you say, it was a great performance. It was a deserved victory. Could have been more even, perhaps. Decore not hit the bar. I think fully deserved, and I think more important than, listen, the 3 points are hugely valuable. It's made our position in the table look certainly more respectable than it did before, because I was starting to get concerned about where the next points were coming from, seeing as Maroon down there on 1 point. But I think more than anything else, it's hopefully a big confidence booster. All of them, bar none, needed some confidence in that squad, and hopefully those sort of performances and that kind of result will actually, help them hugely going into the games ahead, which again on paper would look favourable in terms of who we've got up, for the next 2 in the league, and there should be points there. We'd all.
How important do you think that can be with the 2 games coming up? Because obviously 2 home games, like Dave just said, you'd look at them and we always go 6 points there. History generally says Everton don't win the 2 home games, but this would be a great opportunity this time for Everton to really move away from the
Well, it takes the pressure off, doesn't it? It takes the pressure off Saturday a little bit, not looking for that first win. And gives us an opportunity, and if we can get that first one on Saturday, then obviously it takes all the pressure off again the Bournemouth game. And like Dave said, then you start to look at the table, you look at the points, and you think, right, this is starting to look better, so people can be a little bit freer to play the games. There's pressure off everyone with everything going on at the football club. So of course, it's not ideal waiting 6 games for your first win, and obviously it came in at a place that I don't think a lot of people thought we were going to get it. So, I think that just takes the pressure off. Hopefully it doesn't mean that anyone's complacent, of course, because Saturday's a huge game. But, takes that pressure off.
I think, as well, one of the things you've got to look at is that, and certainly what I took from the game at the weekend was that's got to be almost the bar, I think, now for the level of performance and the resilience, because too many times Everton over in recent history, this isn't just under Sean Dyche, this was here with Frank Lampard, and it was here with Rafa Benitez and Carlo to some extent. Everton's resilience levels aren't great. So we can see the goal, and you're sitting there thinking, there'll be, like buses, there'll be another one along in a minute, because it seems to totally and utterly throw us. And at the weekend, there was one incident where it might have happened just after they'd scored. They nearly scored again. But other than that, Everton controlled it quite well, didn't he, really?
No, I think you're right. I think the resilience was there in this game. And certainly I was watching it thinking that if they had played to that level against Sheffield United, then they would have undoubtedly won that, which would have been another 2 valuable points. But yeah, I think they showed what they should be doing week in, week out when you look at the players that we have in that. So I think sometimes it's easy to forget who we've got. And I'm not saying that we've got a sparkling squad, but in the likes of Doucouré and people like that, they're good players. And when he's on his game, and as he showed, I mean, he took his goal really, really well. He nearly followed it up with another excellently hit effort, minutes later, that hit the bar. Could have put the game to bed at that point. And yeah, they were playing in the way that I think they should really be playing in terms of who we have at our disposal on a weekly basis. We still got players to come back from injury. But above all else, I think it's a confidence thing for me. I just felt that as the games went on, week in, week out, we were starting to get ourselves into a bit of a tailspin.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to see how you get out of that. And if this result hadn't come when it did, you go into the Lutons and the Bournemouths, and as you say, all the pressure's there. Everyone's thinking these are absolute must-win games, which they still are, by the way. I mean, nothing has changed on that front. They still are must-win games, because you've got to be getting those points now, because there'll be tough runs of games coming up. But there would have been so much pressure, I think, heaped on their shoulders that I think a lot of them would have buckled. And so to actually have a little bit of breathing space and a bit of freedom based on what happened last weekend, I think is crucial going into this run of games.
Ped, I mean, a big thing, we talked about it obviously on the final word and stuff like that, was but having the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin able to come on for Beto, so there was no drop in quality. Again, I said it yesterday, you could almost argue it was even a slight upgrade in quality just because of what Dom's done in the Prem. But that's key, isn't it? And then when Jack Harrison's back, he played 45 minutes last week. When that comes in, as Dave just said there are players now who give the manager variation.
Yeah, I think we've all spoke about the size of the squad, but at least if we've only got maybe like 4 subs, say, ready to go subs, then the quality doesn't drop off.
Yeah.
And I think with Dom and Beto, with Jack Harrison and whoever's playing on the right-hand side, with Dan Juma and Dwight McNeil, with James Garner, you've got players there, Patterson, as well. You've
Seamus Coleman to come back.
Yeah, you've got players there where there's not a lot of drop-off, so that in games like this, you can keep that continuity. You'd rather have a bigger squad with the quality, but at least if you're going to have a smaller squad, make sure that the players coming on have the same kind of quality and can go in and do the similar jobs, and there's not much changing in our approach. And I think Don coming on for Beto was massive because it just kept that pressure off. When you're thinking early on the season or maybe last season, you're keeping your main striker on for longer, who might then become tired, and then if you do swap him, it might be for Mopai or it might be a Damari Gray, and that is
Ellis Sims.
Ellis Sims as well, and you're losing that element of quality which allows the opposition. And we saw it in the Sheffield United game, literally for the last 15 minutes, we were hamstrung because we had Beto up front who wasn't coming off. We had Dwight McNeil on the right who wasn't fit. And we had Dan Juma who didn't look like he was capable of playing the last 15 minutes. And that allowed Sheffield United to start getting up the pitch and not causing us loads of danger, but obviously stopping us from causing them danger. So I think in this game, it allowed us to just keep our foot on the pedal.
Absolutely. And Dave, that's something we've seen from other clubs who maybe not as, you'd say, weren't as good as Everton team-wise over the last couple of years. But what they did have is a level of play that were all similar skill sets, if you like. So even though we might say our best 11's way better than theirs, if our best 11's tired after 65 minutes, and then like Ped said, the options off the bench aren't great, other teams were able. One sticks out to me last season at home, which was Wolves on Boxing Day. They made 5 changes, and all 5 of them, they could actually get in their first 11. Yeah. And them changes won the game for them. And We have to do that, don't we? Even though, like Ped said, we haven't got a huge squad. If we can get kind of like 14 or 15 players who we think could all play in our first team, when we're making them changes, there won't be a drop, really, will there, in quality?
Competition for places is so important, and I think you could see that by the way that Dominic bounced onto the pitch when he came on. You know, I think it's really, really important that rather than him coming on as the only real striking option, which is what we've had before, he's coming on for Beto. And he knows that it's not just him there. He knows that actually, you know, Beto could get a decent run in the team and actually keep Dominic out if you know, things went slightly differently. So he's got to come on there. He's got to prove it. And I would imagine from Dominic's point of view, he's coming on kind of thinking, you know, all well and good, but I'm the one with the Premier League experience. I'm the one that's been here longer. I'm the one with the goals tally. And actually, it's given him something to fight for. I'm not saying that he wasn't fighting before, and don't get me wrong, and I'm not criticizing Dominic's attitude previously, but I think that there was a healthy bounce about him when he came on the other day, and I think that a lot of that you can put down to, you know, the fact that Beto is there, and that they both need to be using the other one to spur each other on. But as you say, you know, with regards to the Wolves example as well, it's competition for players in all positions, and just hopefully a happier, buoyant squad, and winning games of football makes that a lot easier at the risk of trotting out another overused cliche.
It does, Don. I think players like competition as well. I know, you know, you've got certain players who'll want to know they're playing all the time and they relax then and do the. But players like competition because, if you look around the squad and see better players in your squad, that makes you feel you're part of something better. And, you know, we're trying to improve all the time, and it gives you that edge because it's like anything at work, isn't it? Whatever job you're doing, after a while, you do go through the motions. It's human nature. And then if someone comes in who might be not after your job, but someone comes in and all of a sudden the spotlight's kind of on them as well, that picks your game up a little bit. You want to prove it. And Dom, I think you're right. Dom bounced onto the pitch the other day, looking the best.
Seen his face.
Exactly. Just looked determined, ready to go. And he come on, and it was amazing how quickly he got it. Because sometimes, and we've all played footy, when you're a sub, it's sometimes really difficult to get up to the speed of the game. He was on it immediately. You know, one header.
Because he knew that he had to be. That was the thing. You know, he knew he had to be. He had something to prove. And as I say, whether that was an intentional state of mind that he came on with, or just, I suspect it was more kind of just inbuilt. I think that, you know, he read the situation. He knew he had to come on. He knew that he had to at least match what Beto had done, if not more. And he did that, and he got his goal, and you know, job done. And you know, I think the body language when he came on, the body language when he scored as well. You know, and you know, he made reference to obviously, you know, the fans who had booed him and criticised him in the past. He wasn't going to let that go. I mean, quite rightly, I think, to be fair. And yeah, you know, let's hopefully see this as a turning point in the season, early on in the season. And yeah, we just need some more of those. But if we can, I mean, listen, we should be getting 6 points from the next two games, but if we can get 4 points from the next two games, then our position will look dramatically better. Yeah,
and Ped, just before we go on from that, it is vital, isn't it, now, those two home games? It will be difficult. They'll both come with different challenges. Bournemouth are quite lively. Luton have got their first point of the season as well, so they might feel better about themselves. But from Everton perspective, even putting the cup game against Villa to one side, because it, you know, it's slightly different. It has got to be, we've got to at least this weekend take the 3 points and follow up that away win with a home win. I think when you do that, you feel
no,
great,
absolutely. We've got to get 3 points this weekend. It's a team that we should be beating, capable of beating, and have to beat them to put that daylight between us and them, even this early on. So they're the games at home. You've got to win. You've got to.
Absolutely. Dave, just quickly then, Villa away in the Cup. We're obviously recording this before we've gone there. It's a tough game, isn't it? How high is it on your priority list at the moment, this Cup?
Not particularly high, to be honest with you. I mean, I like to support all cup competitions, and I think that silverware is good, but I think the situation that we find ourselves in now, we're not really in a position to be enjoying a little sideline cup run. Yes, of course, I would like them to do well tomorrow night. But if they don't, I don't really care. I'm just more focused on Luton and Bournemouth coming up and actual points on the board, because that's all that's really important. After the last 2 seasons, that's where our priority has to go. For us, every win has got to be converted into points rather than anything else. But it's going to be tough going to Villa away. They're a good side under Emery. They really are. And that, in many ways, similar club to us. We've always said that. And, I think somebody pointed out a few weeks ago that, they were sort of drawing the parallels in terms of the fact that, Villa are going one way and we're very much going another way, which isn't good. So, be good to make a good show of ourselves at Villa Park. But as I say, if we get nothing from it, I won't be losing any sleep.
And Ped, well, then you can have the last word with that. I'm in Dave's camp, to be honest. I'd love us to win. And I think if we won and then got a favourable home draw, you can start going, I tell you what, we could be in the quarters here. But if Everton were to be knocked out, it'll air, because I don't like us losing friendly matches. But the focus for me is still honed in on the 2 home games a little bit more.
It is, but I think it's a really good time for this game, because I think we've got those players coming back who we can get a look at and can give some game time to and mix it up a little bit, and you can get a little look at those players. Maybe James Garner midfield might start Dom, Jack Harrison might come off the bench, Dan Juma. So there's a real good opportunity to see some of those players we've just spoke about that could come into the squad. So of course want to win the game, but the focus for me again is on Saturday. And obviously we're all desperate to win a trophy, but I do understand what Dave's saying. It's about steadying the ship just right now.
But for Villa though, they're in bad 4 games in 9 days for them. They might
have kids playing for all we know. They might feel the same. I know there's a little bit of anger from the fans for this game because of the prices, and there's been a bit of a boycott.
So it could be Everton could
work
catch
in our
them, couldn't
favour,
they?
And then that's just the confidence. But I hope we don't want. I think what they sort of say, don't want to stretch yourself too far. I wouldn't want to see players getting injured for a win tonight.
No,
so tomorrow night.
Well,
yeah.
No, depends what country you're in.
It depends when you're watching it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It could be last week. You might be catching up.
Exactly.
Happy Christmas anyway.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, well done. Moving on from that joviality and the joyous chat.
How dare you enjoy yourself?
It's amazing. No, it is amazing. This is another joyous moment. Ned, it's his birthday today.
Oh, yeah.
Is
his
it?
birthday. He's a man now, 23. He's a man.
Really?
He's had his 21st and he's had his year of,
debauchery.
Yeah. Well,
that.
sort of.
Yeah,
debauchery with food and stuff. And now he's 23, so we expect to see a more mature. What are you thinking about Ned at 23? What do you want to see? We've talked about what you want to see from Everton squad players. What do you want to see from Ned?
I'd like to see a wife by the end of the year.
That's it.
What are you going to say by the end of the show?
Well, who knows?
He's online.
Might have a new car by the end of the year.
I'd like to, yeah. I think his mum would like him out the house.
I think so.
I think
wife or no wife. Could be a show for Ned.
Dad said today that should have happened.
Your mum, my Ned. What about that? We could pitch that to Channel 5.
We could. I think Channel 5 would be all over.
I think so. Yeah.
Marry your mum off to Ned.
There'd
be a list.
There could be a list. Yeah.
There'd be a register, I think.
Oh, there's definitely a register. There's always a register.
Could be anything. I mean, Dave, do you remember your 23rd birthday in clear focus, or is it just a blur?
I'm trying to think where I was in life. So I was 23 in 1997.
Terrible season for Everton.
Awful season. 1997. So I had just started working at Radio 1. In fact, I think it was my first birthday, actually, having joined Radio 1.
You were there at 1? How young did he take them?
I joined there December 96, age 22. So yeah, it was my first birthday there. So I suppose, yeah, it was quite an exciting time, really. And I do actually, funny enough, I do look back at the age of 23. And I have said before that is a really good age, and not just because it's your 23rd today, Ned, but it is a really good age because you're past your 18s and your 21s. You're young enough, you know a little bit about the world.
And we must stress it's only a little bit.
But you're still quite bulletproof and quite, excited about life. So yeah, I think 23 is a good age. And so for that, Ned, I would wish you many happy returns today and all the very best for your 23rd year ahead.
When I was 23.
Oh my God, that sounds like a Sinatra song then.
When I was 23. Basically,
I started going great.
I wasn't then Everton at all. I was just going to say a month after I was 23, Everton won the FA Cup.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, Ned. So, a month after you're 23, Everton might have won a home game.
It's sad because
you're not in this podcast.
I didn't watch the game on Saturday.
Why can I hear just mumbling? And we know it's your birthday, we're trying to be nice to you.
But you're not in the podcast.
When you were 23,
2002? So, the Moyes era.
It's terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, part of the course, isn't it?
Actually, no, because Moyes
December,
over in the December 2002. So we were good.
Yeah.
We were on around that December time. Yeah. We just lost at Newcastle, haven't we? That the 6 on the run, and then Shearer scored that worldie. Wasn't that December?
That was that one.
December 2002 when he scored that volley. I still fume that Alan Stubbs didn't get out.
When I was watching that,
we were 1-0 up in it as well.
Yobo
got sent off, and then it was late on, wasn't it? And Bellamy scored, and then Shearer. Yeah. Great times though. Everton were good. Lee Tye was slide rule passes through to the likes of Radzinski.
Yeah.
Great times.
I liked Radzinski.
Fine. That's fine. He got off to Fulham. He thought Fulham were a bigger club, he said.
No, I know. But I quite liked him as a player. Here's another one while we're talking about random ex-players.
Go on.
And
we weren't.
Here's one that you perhaps won't agree with. I quite liked Kevin Morales as well.
No, I like
Kevin Morales.
I like Kevin Morales.
It just ended badly with him, but he was good.
I used to enjoy seeing him come on because I thought he had something natural about him, and could change a game.
Don't you think the decline of Everton Football Club started when Kevin Morales took the ball off Leighton Baines
against West
Brom? When if you were in the crowd, you were also
were in the Rocky film.
Yeah,
and then missed the penalty because he wanted to have a message. He had a message for one of their friends who died, didn't he, on his shirt, and he wanted to score and showed the message and missed the penalty.
That's where the decline can be traced back.
There and the Hadjuk case. The Hadjuk case is more real.
I think it actually started there.
Well, it was Roberto Martinez's decline. That's where that started. Great times. Yeah. We didn't expect to do. We didn't expect to do an ex-Everton player random linked into Neds.
Morales was a great signing.
Yeah.
It's a great
signing. Got a couple of great goals at Spurs. One got us a 2-2 draw. The other one we lost 2-1, but he scored a worldie.
We played Wolfsburg away, and he was super. I was there, and he scored the second goal. It was fantastic.
He was super. Everton was superb that night, though. Imagine Everton being in Europe, going away against the Kevin De Bruyne team and absolutely battering them. Yeah. The halcyon days. The halcyon days. Yeah. Got a couple of random questions. I mean, I said random questions when we ask the Premier members. So non-football. First question. Yeah. Are there any plans to support infrastructure around the new stadium on match days?
Sorry, that is not a question for this show.
No.
Why don't...
No, is that not a council question?
It is, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, Alan, thank you for your question.
We're not in the
But
chambers.
I'll be honest, we don't make infrastructure decisions on this podcast.
We don't plan them either.
No. Derek's, what's the strangest piece of football memorabilia you've got? Again, ignoring the random football.
Well, he said strangest, hasn't he?
But we'll have that. We'll have that. Okay, so go on, Pet. You're a football memorabilia type of person.
I'll tell you what I have got. And I don't know whether this is strange. I just think it's quite unique. I've got like the blueprints for Finch Farm.
Nice.
But like it's been there's like ghostly images of Tim Cahill, Arteta, and Andy Johnson on it,
Okay.
and it was like a special print that the people who built it did. I don't think many people have got that.
No, I
I would hazard a guess that almost nobody has got
yeah,
that.
I'd suggest you've got it.
Yeah, I'm
and
the
that's
only
it.
one who's got it. So it's got weird because it's obviously very much from the time. It's got just these weird ghostly images in the background of a couple of 3 players in particular. And I don't think anyone else has got that. So that's quite unique.
Unique is the word.
Unique is very much the word. I've got a AFCON winners medal in my house. And I'm pretty certain it's Daniel Amokachi's or one of them. I don't know why I've ended up with it. That and Robbie Fowler's boots. Again, it's Pumas that he's wore in the Premier League. Again, I don't understand why.
Where did you get them from then? Did someone just give you a big bag of swag?
Yeah. Basically, that was a shirt and with a thingy on, and when I took it back, they were like, no, just keep it. So it's in my loft somewhere, so I need to dig it out because it can come in here.
Could sell that. Those boots.
Robbie Fowler's boots, yeah. The lovely boots, like Puma Kings, they're very nice. What's yours, Dave?
Well, it's already featured on this podcast before, but it's obviously Leon Osmond's training shorts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which I still wear to running to this day.
It's impressive that A, you still fit in them. B, you still run. I mean, don't be careful what steps you're on, man. Also, Leon, fair play to him. You're keeping the Leonard Osmond legend alive.
Also, I mean, are the Umbro shorts?
Yeah, I think so. Do you want me to go and get them again?
No,
hang on.
He's going. The durability, though, what's the shorts?
It said something about the quality and the craftsmanship of the shorts.
Well, listen, Umbro are renowned for quality and craftsmanship, I think. Or I think certainly that's what they'll lead you to believe.
If they weren't, they're
but I'll be honest, I've got a pair of Duncan Ferguson's blue Everton shorts from 1990, the Man United game away.
Yeah.
When he scored 2. I've got those shorts.
Bring them in, give them to me because they wouldn't fit you.
They're like going around the house kind of shorts.
They're
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Shorts, Dave,
There they are.
Yeah.
21.
I'm just saying
Leonard's they're
just the quality of the shorts. Yeah, fair play.
Don't make them like that anymore.
They're
thin now, aren't they?
Certainly don't.
Incredible. There you go. Anyway, I mean, football memorabilia. What more?
I don't think anyone's beaten an African nations medal.
I know. It is weird. It was as I was saying, I was thinking, weird. This is weird. That's
what year is it from?
90 something. It's Nigeria. When Nigeria won it. There you go. Don't know, 95.
I can Google
Amokachi played for us, didn't he? So, I don't know, 95, 96.
Does he know you've got it?
I don't know.
Medal?
Yeah, I think he probably had about 4. I think he just went up and took loads. Yeah, I'll have them. You know Colin, who's normally here, I'll take his for him and he just never give it to him. Mark says, okay, this is random.
Okay.
You're on the run from the police.
Okay.
Where are you hiding in this country and who would be your first call to help you? Interesting one.
You shouldn't really call anyone, should you?
You shouldn't. It's not a phone. It isn't Millionaire. You shouldn't be phoning a friend, really.
Because you're bringing them into it.
Exactly.
You're making them part of it, so...
Where would you go?
I'm sure Radio 1 would have done this, Dave, when you were there, some kind of thing like this. Surely.
They've done a hide and seek thing, but it's more recent than our time. They did one a few years ago, and they had Greg James and Nick Grimshaw and stuff like hiding. But I think of I often... There's a program called Hunted, which I'm sure you're aware of, which is good for making you think about stuff like this. Yeah. So if we sort of mold the question around in terms of how you would negotiate Hunted, for example, which is kind of the same thing, is that because you've got AMPR everywhere and you've got CCTV and bus stations and everywhere on the street and at cash machines and whatever, I've always thought, surely the way to do this, and it wouldn't be great telly, and this is probably why you're not allowed to do it, because it's probably slightly manipulated, one would imagine. That's certainly not the thoughts of me or indeed the podcast as a whole. But the thing is that I would probably just go to my friend's house next door and just go and try and spend 2 weeks in their, in their spare room upstairs on the basis that I'd kind of go, right, listen, I'm just going to stay here. In fact, to be honest with you, it's not really any different to when I had to isolate when I had the Omicron version of COVID, because I spent 10 days in this very room here and I didn't go anywhere, right? So it's the same kind of policy whereby if I was staying with you, Pet, let's suppose that we're next door neighbors and I'm on this show called Hunted. And so I think, right, ready, steady, go. All these people go legging off with their backpacks into the city center and they get spotted on this camera and that camera and the train and whatever. I would just stroll around to yours, right? With a few changes of clothes.
And a baseball cap, surely. Everyone. Baseball cap, people don't see it.
But you don't need it indoors, do you? Because no one's going to be there.
No, what if you're strolling round to his house, you're going to have to.
Yeah. Okay, fine, but it's hopefully not very far. So I come round to yours and I say, right, I'm going to be here for a couple of weeks' time. All I need you to do is can you just get me whatever I need in terms of the basics, whatever, food, shower gel, deodorant, toothpaste, whatever it is. And at the end of the 2-week period, just give me a bill.
Yeah.
And then I will just transfer that money to you. All good. No one's had a check on any of my outgoings from my credit card or anything. And I've won.
Would it help if I lived in a bungalow?
No, I think that would actually be a downside, because I think that if you're in a bungalow, I would be on ground level. Therefore, potential hunters could see me through the windows. Whereas the reality is that if I was upstairs, they're less likely to see it unless there's step ladders involved.
I was just thinking of you, Dave.
How do you mean? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Fair enough.
There you go.
I mean, It's where would you go then, Pet? If Dave's doing that, Dave's come up with I think it's quite a good. That's quite a good one.
It's not good telly, but it's a way to crack the show. I think.
You say it's not good telly, but didn't that fella the canoeist basically just lived next door?
He did, didn't he?
And he was dead.
What a show! What a program that was.
Based on real life.
No, I know, but I'm saying when you watch, I've watched the actual thing.
That wasn't as good.
That was good, but it was just mad because they had, when the footage of the interviews the police were given at the time when he'd gone out to sea, he actually, the chief of police or one of the leading investigators said, people are saying he's done a Reggie Perrin, but it's nonsense. He's done it, and he'd literally done, he'd literally was just living where he was.
Do you know what, Dave? I'd buy into it. I'd go to somewhere in Cornwall and grow a nice beard and get like a nice jumper, fisherman's jumper. And just stroll around and just be part of the community.
Would you have a hat on? You'd have to change it slightly because you are quite.
I don't think I'm big in Cornwall.
No, but you do a certain. You're a certain size with that. People can't.
Have you been to Cornwall?
No. But when you say big in Cornwall, do you mean in terms of your status as one of the country's leading podcast hosts and media personalities, or do you mean big in terms of your size in comparison with, say, an average Cornish fisherman?
Are you saying Cornish fishermen are my size?
I'm saying both. To be honest, I'm saying both. No, Cornwall's probably renowned for having big, freakish people.
I imagine so.
Hairy people,
very isolated. It's practically its own thing.
Fair play.
Devon knows how good
Devon knows. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Where would you go? Where would you hide?
Yeah. Where would
you go, Barry?
I'd go to
Amakatchi's loft.
Yeah, basically, and give him his AFCON medal back. Wales or Scotland, I think.
You're always recognised in Wales?
Not in Scotland. I mean, I don't know because I haven't been there.
You haven't been there?
Scotland's vast, though, isn't it?
It's getting there, though.
Yeah.
You've got to get through all those cities.
I'd go to St Helens. Forget it. You'd be able to hide in St Helens. There's a lot
I haven't got the technology.
No. I mean, when we crack a joke with Ned, he doesn't get it till about 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
So therefore, I reckon you could get a couple of weeks out of it before someone in St Helens went. Not from round here, are you? I've seen you.
I don't know. I think the hot on, you're not round.
Yeah, a caravan in St Helens. Back end.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
It'd be difficult. And yet, calling people's not. You can't be bringing other people into it. Alexander Hoffler, Susan's brother, says, if you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why?
I think I'd be a potato. Because I just think in terms of a vegetable, it's a proper all-rounder, isn't it?
It's
You know, it
versatile,
can do,
innit?
do everything. The potato. There's not many vegetables that are as useful and as robust, certainly to our national cuisine, as a potato. So I think that would be me. You know, sort of very much an everyman type of vegetable.
Vegetable of the people, I'd say, Dave.
I'd
you think?
say, yeah.
That's what Dave represents to me.
I mean, well, what about
A
you?
spud wearing Leon Osmond shorts. That's
Fair
what
play. Hey,
Dave is.
Hey,
to me.
listen, why not? So go on, what do you go?
Is an aubergine a vegetable?
Yeah. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I mean, why not?
you have been called it a few
I just
times,
like
so
being.
fair play to
I
you.
just like being everyone's favourite emoji.
There you go.
That's all it is.
I say everyone's favourite emoji.
Well,
I
everyone
mean,
that
it's up
matters.
there. It's up there. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. I'll be broccoli.
Would
Okay.
you?
Good for
Why?
you. Full of free radicals. Really,
Iron,
really
iron,
good for you. Iron.
Feels brittle.
You say brittle, but I think about the goodness I'm putting in you.
Very.
That's
But
what.
also-
That's what my one was.
There you go. But
Well,
mine
think
goes
about the
even
goodness that I'm
further.
putting in you. Is that yeah?
I'm just saying that you take it any way you want. Damn, again, all fits in.
Great
with
song by
Aubergine,
Electric Six. That.
There you go.
Think about the goodness I put in you.
There you go. So we
Like a
man.
Tinder profile, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, and Ned, 23 now, might be on the Tinder. The
He's
Tinder,
been on
though.
the Tinder for ages.
He has
Ned.
been on the
They
Tinder
just-
for ages. He's the unluckiest person on the Tinder. What it's there for, it doesn't actually work for Ned.
No.
What about this one? Because me and Ned were talking about this. This isn't funny.
Yeah.
But me and Ned were, because
Hang on, this isn't without going anywhere near it. This isn't harking back to the pre-recording conversation that you had, because that wasn't funny.
No. There was one before that. There was one before.
good.
It's not fun. This isn't funny in any
Why are
way.
you talking about
But
it?
because it just, as someone who has frequented Florida,
Yeah, sorry, I was wondering where you were going.
there's
with
a
that.
news story
Yeah.
of an alligator
Yeah.
walking down the road with a human remains in its mouth. 13-foot alligator was found walking along with a woman's remains in its mouth, 20 miles off west of Tampa. They've obviously sorted the alligator out because it was just wandering along the road.
Drove it home.
When you say sorted it out, in what respect?
They've
Did they
humanely
sort it out-
they've humanely ended it, essentially.
Okay, all right,
Which is,
permanently.
what they like permanently. It won't be carrying any more human remains.
Yeah,
in
it's
its
dead.
mouth.
I mean, I
dead.
think we get the point.
It's
yeah.
dead. Do you think it was just showing people
Go
what
with
it was?
this.
Well, what I'm thinking is Ned asked which is the biggest animal you could fight,
Yeah.
right? And then he said he could take an alligator.
Ned,
Now it's his birthday. It's his birthday.
13. You couldn't take a 13.
I said he couldn't take a 13-foot alligator. He said all you'd have to do is get on its back and put your arm round its neck.
How was
Right.
he getting on its back?
This was my thing. Was like,
Well, from behind,
Well,
I think the best approach is always from behind.
well, you've got to
in
take
that
it
sort
from
of
behind,
instance.
right? Now
Yeah.
Ned's doing actions like he's jumping on it, almost like a roll. Now, alligators and crocodiles are famous for a roll.
Quite famous for
They are
rolls, yeah.
famous for rolls. Death
Yeah, but
rolls, they're called.
I don't. Yeah, but that's only in a water-based scenario. I don't think they can do a death roll on land. And I think that.
What if he
also-
tried though, Dave? Would you
Well-
like to try it with it? I
Onto
wouldn't.
concrete.
No, I wouldn't. But I'm pretty sure that alligators and crocodiles can't look behind them without the aid of an elaborate system of mirrors. I
Yeah.
don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do any of that, which
Yeah.
means that Ped could be onto something here, because if he
Ned,
was,
not Ped.
sorry, Ned,
Yeah,
sorry, my
Ped's not
mistake.
that mad.
I
Go on.
always get them mixed up.
Yeah.
But if Ned was to approach quietly and stealthily from behind, I think that he would have a chance of actually getting into that position where he is on top of it and able to restrain it in the manner in which he suggests.
Wouldn't be a first time.
I see. I haven't worked with Ned for a number of years now. I still doubt that he will be able.
My issue with that
to
is
do that.
he'd likely be wearing someone else's shoes.
Crocs.
Or
he'd be
Crocs.
wearing
Crocs.
Crocs, which would be quite ironic.
We've
It'd
told
be
us
quite
that.
ironic, wouldn't he? That he's wearing Crocs.
Crocs.
And there'd be a noise because they didn't quite fit. They'd squeak, and that'd give the game away. And I think
Well, he'll have his squeezies on or his Crocs.
no, you haven't tamed.
You've
any.
tamed dangerous animals. Elaborate, please, into the microphone.
I've
We know
tamed dangerous animals.
Go on, elaborate.
I've tamed Rexy.
This your lizard that is
your
about
lizard.
Would you hold Rexy?
yeah.
Would you?
It's about 6 inches big.
12, but would you hold Rexy?
Well, Ned, there's
You're always exaggerating.
your problem, Ned.
You're always
Isn't it?
exaggerating.
There's your problem.
You wouldn't hold Rexy. You'd say, oh, she's too dangerous.
Why would I think she's dangerous?
Because she's a born killer.
She's a born killer.
She, after I've trained her, yeah.
Okay, this is
Dave's
I
getting a picture of what we have to put up with.
see this, Dave. This is just this. You know, I tried to give him a little
23 now.
section on his because it's his birthday and he's 23. I tried to
23
bring in.
now. He shouldn't be talking like this.
I did. I mean, I'll be honest with you, to revert back to the beginning in a full circle kind of way, is I did think that when we started this and before we pressed record, that you were, both of you, being unusually nice and unusually kind to Ned today. And now that I realise that it's his special day, it does make a lot more sense. So in that respect, again, Ned, on behalf of myself and Peter and Barry, you know, we just like to wish you all the very best and many, many happy returns.
I've brought him a cake. I bought him a big dairy milk bar because he likes it. He's had, you know, this. He's getting it big time here. I've given him his own moment in time on the podcast to really explain.
Very much
This is the
like
best
And
birthday.
basically, he's come out with, I've tamed killer animals like Rexy. I thought he was going to say, you know, I don't know, a shark, a great white shark. Oh my God, the dolphin.
I knew he hadn't trained.
No, I know, but you hope, don't you? You hope that he's kept something back for you.
Yeah.
That's
Hope
going to
that
make
kills
you
us,
go.
though, Barry. It's a hope that kills us.
It is, and well, we as Evertonians, we know that, don't we? So,
Could easily
what a great way to.
Yeah.
What are you saying before we finish?
Could easily train a shark.
He could easily train a shark. Fair play to you. I can't disprove that theory
No.
because you were not. You know what? I haven't got a shark in here.
I'm not
for you
sure.
to
I'm not
train.
sure sharks can be trained by anyone. So for Ned,
Imagine though, just imagine, right? If Ned had the sixth sense,
facilities.
the facility
Yeah.
to be able to train a shark.
I'll be honest. I think there's only one way we can find out if that works, and so
Let's see if we can set that up.
Let's see if we can do.
That's a Channel 5 show, ever a trouble.
Yeah, Ned versus Shark. Shark Week.
Shark on Discovery Channel. Fair play.
It's a really short series.
It
One
might be a
episode.
short series.
Ned versus Shark.
A really short episode.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We might get 11 minutes in before Ned is. Before Ned is.
To be fair,
Namor.
Ned's normally a 2-3 minute kind of guy. So
Fair play. Concentration, man, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, let's leave it there.
Anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. Big thank you, Dave, for joining us. Hopefully, you'll always be one step ahead now and be in this podcast week after week. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching. Give the video a like. Give it a 5-star rating if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, all of those good places. And we'll see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.